Today, ooh, a little bit of meat there. Sorry about that, ladies and gays. We're going to look at Missing in Action. And if you don't know, a few months ago, the great Chuck Norris has passed away. And a lot of you people now, Zoomers and millennials, you may not know who Chuck Norris is. He was an action star. He was famous for karate. He had a couple television shows, a few movies. Some of his work was better than others.
And how you doing, little partner?
Fine. And it's little visitor now. Atawoyoli's how you say it in Cherokee.
Oh, well, pardon my French, but I'll be damned.
Walker told me I have AIDS.
No problem, big guy.
Yeah, weird. But I think at the end of the day, he's most known for his omnipotent jokes. People would make jokes about how Chuck Norris was invincible. Things like if you are playing Scrabble and you spell Chuck Norris, you win the game automatically. And not only that, you win all Scrabble games in perpetuity. There's a lot of jokes like that with Chuck Norris. But he had an unfinished prototype video game, and this video will include a review, kind of the history behind it, because I was very active in the Atari Age forums when this came to light, so I have some special information, and also some new information about a completed version of Missing in Action. And we're going to do kind of like a walkthrough of the game too. It's a little thing. It's not perfect. Chuck Norris was perfect, but this game is not perfect. It's not perfect at all. It's pretty good though.
Since the beginning of time, there's only been one website with the Bob-a-longs to claim every game reviewed when it came to the Pro System, and that's Atari7800forever.com.
But now it's time to get on that YouTube trip, babies. And who am I? I'm Funkmaster V, musician, ghost hunter, hat flipper, pro wrestler, comedian, actor, filmmaker, and I'm going to take you on a whirlwind tour of all things cool about Atari and the Atari 7800 with a podcast, news, even new crap. Baby, are you ready to get your groove on? Because it's about to get funky up in here. All right, I would like to say on the record that I watched my friend John Stoll's, the Atari Network's video of this, and he stole all my jokes from my website about Chuck Norris. So I have no material, and I don't feel like going through and looking at all the old Chuck Norris jokes. So we'll just cut out the comedy for once. We'll let John have it, even though his delivery was terrible. And I'm going to steal his gameplay footage because my shit's not working right. So what is this thing? This is a video game, obviously, an Atari 7800 game that was an unreleased prototype. It was one of those games that was found. And I remember back in the early 2000s, Mitch Orman, the legend from Atari7800.org, he purchased the prototype for this game and released it free for all of us on the Atari Age forums over there. I do remember he announced that he found it, or he bought it on April 1st, and everybody was like, nah, because they always do jokes like that. Like, hey, I just made Street Fighter 2 for the Atari 2600. And, everybody just thought it was a gag. And then a few weeks later, bada boom, bada bing, it popped up. And the game is not finished, but you can play through it if you tweak some stuff. So, first things first, if you are going to play this game, you need to have your difficulty switches operational, which means you got to play it on a like a real system, unless you have an emulator that has difficulty switch options. So it's pretty important. So if you look at the top of the screen there, you see that it's pink, and it's not because it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month or anything like that. It's because the left difficulty switch has been flipped over to where the invincibility selection is selected, or as we like to call it, Chuck Norris mode, where no matter what happens to him, he just doesn't die. You may think this is cheap to play the game this way, but the game's pretty buggy and needs some help. You need to have some help. So the right difficulty switch is used to select the level. Now, when you buy this game, there are a couple different prototypes out there. I bought this a long time ago from Good Deal Games, and my version, once you complete a level and go to the next level, it totally freaks out. So you have to turn the game off, use the difficulty switch to select the next portion of this game that you want to play. You play that one, it freaks out as it goes to the next one, and you got to kind of repeat the process. So in other words, it sucks. Now there are prototypes out there and cartridges out there where you can just kind of breeze through the game willy-nilly. Now looking at this, there's different types of gameplay options in this game, which is pretty impressive, and I think most of the graphics here are really good, and the sound is good. The opening music is great, and also the background music kind of sounds like Fatal Run. And as you're looking at these early stages, they use the Alien Brigade code, especially on the first stage. Once you realize, you're like, oh yeah, that's where I've seen that before. So you've got, some basic punches and kicks in this game. It's not rocket science, and it's not a very good fighting game. It's not like Double Dragon. It's kind of luck-based. You've got guys with guns. You either duck that or jump over the bullets. The rest of the guys you just beat the crap out of. Nothing to write home about in this world. But the cool thing is it does follow along the movie. It seems like every stage brings up some sort of interesting caveat. Like the stage 2 here, the guy's got a flamethrower. So you wait till he shoots that out, run up, jump, and then get behind him and kick him in the head. Bada boom, he's done. These are all well and good, but I think the game really shines on the funky missions, like a stage where you've got to jump down the waterfall ledges. It plays like crap, but it's a lot of fun to see him just bang his head against the rocks repeatedly. And if you can get through there without the invincibility on, that's an accomplishment. This other stage here, you're manning a gunboat, and you've kind of got to do this twitch game where you shoot up or shoot down to eliminate obstacles and mines and people with guns and aids and all that stuff. Haley Joel Osment comes out of the woodwork and tries to cut you with his teeth. You got to shoot him out. And so once you finish that one, you've got another one where you take the gun off of the gunboat and you actually use it to shoot people. And that's probably the best 3-stage run in this game. There are about 12 different stages, I think. The most impressive attribute of this game is the fact that there's so many different gameplay elements wrapped up in a cartridge at this stage. This game was mainly programmed by a fella named Chuck Peavy. He was a guy that did a lot of Atari XE programming, Ace of Aces, one-on-one basketball, that type of thing. And legend has it, he has a final ROM. He said there was a ROM good to go, but it was stolen. He must have lived in Toledo where John lives, or in Baltimore where I used to live. This game was made by TNT Games. They weren't really known for much on the 7800, if anything at all. They did make BMX Airmaster for the 2600, which was freaking cool. That's my Star Wars machine in the background. I forgot to turn it off before I did this thing. But hey, what are you gonna do? The game featured 3 difficulty levels: novice, standard, and expert. And there seems to be supplies and food laying around, and they didn't code it to where that mattered. I assume the food is to restore your health like it does in all video games, which really doesn't make sense. I've got cancer, here, eat a steak. And in the Suicide Falls portion, you could push down, and it looks like you could select the different objects and food. Kind of weird. I'm not sure what was going on, but that doesn't have any effect on this gameplay at all. If you go through the sewer, that's a really cool looking level in the game. There's an impossible jump that they didn't finish, and no matter what you do, you can't jump over this chasm. You will die. You'll fall through the solid floor. And that's a game breaker right there. The underworld excursion part of this game is where there's a lot of bugs. There's a massive collision detection problem in this level. It's not too bad at the start, but it gets progressively worse. The graphics for the holes in the ground don't line up to where the game thinks they should be. So it can change when a new enemy appears too. By memorizing where these holes really are, you can make it quite far into the game, but unfortunately not far enough to defeat the final impossible jump. The final boss in City of Sin There's no collision detection. When you face him, you can't hit him and he can't hit you. And he points left and right. I assume this was going to be a fella that would call mobs out to come fight you at his behest. That was not complete. And then infamously, the final boss, once you get in the final compound, is just a twerpy guy who's a drug czar. William Bennett, by the way. Billy Bennett. Sounds like a joke. Anyway, he can't fight back. He doesn't fight back. All he does is offer you drugs. He keeps saying, "Drugs, Joe? Drugs, Joe? Drugs, Joe?" And Chuck Norris is impervious to temptation, and he just kicks the shit out of that guy. And you can see the ending, which is a text scroll, but it's in camouflage, so that's kind of cool too. But other than that, that's pretty much it. Now, how I rate these games is different than how I rate the completed games. Like, so if I had a completed game, and if you've ever seen my videos before, I score them 1 through 5 with all these categories, and I get my calculator out, and it gets real sweaty. On unfinished prototypes, on hacks, on weird titles, on book carts, things like that, I only rate them 1 of 3 rankings. 1 is dud. If it's just not worth your money and it's not really completed and it's just a couple weird screens, it's a dud. If it's a game that kind of is interesting, I call it a curious oddity. But if it's a game I think that everybody should have that's an Atari 7800 collector, I rank it as must-have. And I rank Chuck Norris, actually that's not the name, I rank Missing in Action a must-have because it is a good tour de force of the sound, using TS Sound back in the day. Really good graphics. Everybody loves Alien Brigade. It uses that background code. And even though it's not a great hand-to-hand combat game, the other parts of the title, I think, are pretty interesting. And overall, I think if anybody poured love into this and completed it, I think it would be a pretty good game. I would retweak the controls. The controls are sort of Karateka-esque, where you hold a button and push up, down, left, right, and he does all this stuff. All you need to do is the straight kick anyway. All the other stuff seems superfluous, and the collision detection is not quite right. This is similar to Karateka 2. There's kind of like a walking mode, and then when you get close to an enemy, it goes into combat mode. When you're in walking mode, you can do really big jumps, so you just can't do a lot of jumps when there's people around. As far as I know, this game doesn't work on PAL Atari 7800s, and it doesn't work on 7800 pluses or 2600 pluses, and it really struggles with emulators too. There's also a known bug in the game that if you knock a guy too far off the screen, he won't return, and you'll be stuck. The screen doesn't move. I will throw you one last Chuck Norris joke. Rest in peace, Chuck. You entertained us moderately throughout your entire life. Chuck Norris's tears cure cancer. Too bad he has never cried. Good night. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys about the Perfect Gene Company. The Perfect Gene Company is out of sight. If you've got flat ass, if you are a large guy and you have a hard time with rolling your nuts, you know what I'm talking about. Go to theperfectgene.nyc. I'm telling you, they do sponsor me, but their jeans are fantastic. I'm not just lying. Also, 9-Bit Robot, formerly associated with Opcode, coming back, bringing you Atari 7800 games that you thought were lost forever. I got a little birdie that told me that Popeye is coming, and it's not just the Popeye that came out for Atari Age, it's the Popeye that has the updates. That means the tin can glitch that I found when I did the review of Popeye a year or two ago. They fixed that. Also, there's some new gameplay wrinkles. So don't pay $600 for a copy of Popeye on eBay. Wait until 9-Bit Robot comes out. With that, Uniwar S, Galaxy, and a whole bunch of them. You won't believe it. Check out 9-Bit Robot. They're coming back, and they're going to slap you in the face.